Okay guys, I want to show you a feature we added in direct response to customer inquiries. And what that is, it's basically a safety override. The problem some of the customers were having is they were using our remote external switches, usually in one of our switch panels, and they can turn on and off each channel manually by pressing the on and off button. However, sometimes they would forget and leave those switches on when they turned off the ignition of the vehicle and got out for the night. So we added a terminal here on the input side next to the power terminal, which is usually labeled IGN for ignition. And that's exactly what it is. It's an ignition override or ignition activation. However, it's optional. You do not need it, and it serves another function that I'll explain in a second. You see, to use this in default mode, you do not need this activated. The switch here on top, which will be the ignition activation switch, will be in the off position, and you can turn on and off each channel on your whim. However, if you want this safety activation, you activate the switch. Now you need 12 volts present on this terminal to activate any of the channels, whether it be a remote switch, the onboard switch, or a remote turn on through the terminals. So what you would do is connect this to your ignition. You can also connect it to a switch in the car or a lighting, illumination switch. Once you turn the key on, now the unit is primed and will allow you to activate any of the channels. Once activated, you can leave the switch activated, and once you turn the key off that energizes this wire, it'll shut down every channel. Okay, so now to explain the secondary function or option of this ignition input terminal, we're going to talk about illumination, specifically on the switches. You have a switch panel where the switches light up when activated. That is the default mode. However, make sure the switch on top for ignition is turned back off to the default mode. Now, the channels can be activated with or without this wire activated, with or without ignition. So we're not using it as an ignition function. We're going to use it for illumination. There's another switch on the side labeled switch illumination. In the default mode, the switch will illuminate whenever it's turned on. If we activate and send 12 volts, so this will come from, say, your parking light wire or dash light wire. To activate the feature, you would then slide the switch on the side on. And now the illumination on the switches will come on and be active whenever you have this wire, this terminal, energized with 12 volts. Just like your dash lights would be when you turn on your headlights. You can have these switches do the same thing. So the illumination on these switches will come on with the illumination in your vehicle. Activation of each channel will then be independent when the switch is pressed. And the illumination on the relay box will only activate when that channel is turned on. Okay, so now you can use the ignition and the illumination together. Turn the illumination switch and the ignition switch on. So when you energize this terminal, when you turn on your key or whatever you have this wire connected to, giving it 12 volt positive. Now the unit is primed. Your illumination comes on, just like the dash lights in your car. You turn your key on, your car is on, the dash lights up. Well, the switch panel that you added from Sparked Innovations will also light up, and now your channels will activate when you push each switch. However, if you leave them on and turn off your key to get out of the car, the whole unit will shut down, illumination and whatever this switch is controlling on and off will turn off with the key.